Am I far away from you? Been told that I always talk too close to the camera. And I feel like I'm slowly but surely going to like ease in like this. Y'all are the viewers. Ask and you shall receive.
The most important thing is you gotta give the people what they want.
You want to see a little bit more? Boom. There you go. It's me. Today I have a slang phrase for you all, and it's one that I use quite often because I love food, if you haven't noticed. I'm a foodie. I really like food and I like trying new things. This slang phrase is one that I use quite often, and it is hits different. Again, that is hits different, all right? Hits different. This just means something affects you in a meaningful or special way. If it hits different, it affects you in a meaningful or special way. It's not like how it usually is. It's hitting different. It's affecting you in a different way, and maybe a more meaningful or special way. Hits different. Now, there's many different times you might hear this. I mentioned food.
Food! Where's the food? Where's the food? Where's the food? Food! 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 Food!
Because a lot of times people say, this be hitting different. I know. English. That's English for you. You're like, Carly, that doesn't make any sense. It's grammatically incorrect. Grammar? Throw that out the window. Yes, I agree. That sentence sounds crazy. Please never write that in an official paper or document. It's slang, right? It's a slang phrase. So when somebody says, this be hitting different, that grammar is completely off. It should say, this is hitting different, right? Even that sounds a little weird, but you know, grammar, I've told you before, it's important. But when it comes to like idioms, slang, phrases, we don't really care how we talk. We just talk. We want to be comfortable when we speak. So we don't care about grammar. So that goes out the window a little bit when it comes to speaking in slang or idioms, phrases, whatever, what have you. So hits different when it comes to food. I mentioned it because this is just a little backstory before I get into my real story. But my real story is about food too. I love food. My father-in-law, who is Vietnamese, whenever I eat his food, it just hits different for me. I can go to restaurants and I can eat Vietnamese food. My husband cooks Vietnamese food. I have yet to visit Vietnam, but hopefully sometime soon I will be in Vietnam. And I'm pretty sure that food will hit different for me too. But like, for some reason right now, whenever I eat my father-in-law's Vietnamese food, it hits different, man. It's so good. And it tastes just like super, like, I don't know, it just tastes like it's made with love and it's super authentic and it's just so delicious that if I go to a Vietnamese restaurant here in America, I'm not gonna find that. Like, it's almost impossible. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't really good Vietnamese restaurants out there. I'm pretty sure there are, but my father-in-law, he's an excellent cook. His food it just be hitting different, all right? It's really good. Not just him, but like when I go back home, like my mom's food that I grew up on, sometimes that just hits different because it might not be the best food in the world. To some people, it might not taste good at all, but it's the food that I grew up eating. And so now as an adult, I don't really get to eat that food, or even if I make it myself, it's not the same because my mom didn't make it for me. So when I go back home and my mom cooks, it just hits different, you know? It's more meaningful because either of the taste or because who's prepping the food or what have you. It's more meaningful, so it hits different, all right? Bear with me as I talk more about food. Hopefully you didn't come to this video hungry. I actually am a little bit hungry right now, so we'll see how long this lasts. If I cut the video short, just know my stomach was growling or something. But when I was living in Korea, actually no, pause. Before I moved to Korea, I liked eating Korean food. Obviously, I was getting like, used to Korean food because I had a Korean husband. If you guys aren't following along, my ex-husband is Korean. I was used to Korean food and eating it every now and then. He would make something or we would go out to like a Korean restaurant. It was just okay. Like I was like, oh, Korean food is not that bad. Like I don't like it a lot, but I don't hate it. Now, Japanese food I really loved because I had studied abroad in Japan and I knew like authentic Japanese food. Plus, there was just so many more options for Japanese food in the city that I was living in to like go out and go to Japanese restaurants than there were for Korean restaurants. Like literally, we only had like 2 Korean restaurants and I'm pretty sure one of them was owned by a white person, so it wasn't really that good. I'm not gonna lie. If you're from Jacksonville, you know which one I'm talking about. But anyways, there wasn't that many options for Korean food. So actually, I didn't really get a taste of Korean food until my husband and I started going to Korean church, and then we would have like dinners afterwards. And I was like, this is really good. Because like the food my ex-husband would cook, he wasn't the best cook. I mean, we were really young. We got married when we were like 19, you know, crazy. So it was just okay. And then I would go to Korean church like, oh, this food is a lot better than the Korean restaurants. And then when I moved to Korea, I was like, whoa, this Korean food be hitting different. Like it hits different. You can say hits different or you can say hitting different. Like if it's present time, present tense, and you're eating it and you're like hitting different, man. It's hitting different. It's so good. That's when I first like really got introduced to Korean food, is like when I moved to Korea. Like I've had it before, but I was just like, it's okay, it's good. When I moved to Korea and I was like, okay, Korean food's really good. And then there was a lot of years where I lived in Korea and then I would come back to America and then I went to Korea and then I come back to America and I was like back and forth, back and forth. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I was like torn between 2 countries. Like, I love Korea and I love living there, but my family's here in America and it was just a whole big ordeal. But I kid you not, every time I would come to America, food-wise, I would just eat the food and I'm just like, okay, yeah. Every time I would go back to Korea and I would order anything. My favorite is like, I love KBBQ, but I also love jjajangmyeon, which is like a Korean noodle dish thing. I love japchae, which is another Korean noodle dish. I love kimchi jjigae, which honestly, my kimchi jjigae that I make is actually the best. IMO. If you don't know what IMO means, you can check it out here. But IMO, I make really good kimchi jjigae. And that's only because my ex-husband's grandmother taught me how to make kimchi jjigae. So it's bussin'. Also, if you don't know what bussin' means, you can click this video here, go figure out what IMO and then bussin' means. But yeah, so I would love to eat like Korean barbecue, kimchi jjigae, japchae, jjajangmyeon, even just like a gimbap. Like every time I would go to Korea, I had like a list of things. Oh, Korean fried chicken. Oh, let me tell you what. KFC. Like if you look and you see KFC is in America, it stands for Kentucky Fried Chicken. But in K-Town and in Korea, KFC means Korean fried chicken. And that is really good now. Like you have KFC here in America, the Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's okay. Like, actually, I don't really like it. Don't hate me, but I don't really like it. It's just sometimes it's dry and it's just chicken. But you eat Korean fried chicken and Lord bless this food. It is so good. Like it just hits different. So every time I'm in Korea, every time I get off the plane, I have a list of like foods like that I want to eat first, right off the bat, before I think of anything else. Oh, right off the bat. If you don't know what that means, here, man, I'm on a roll with all these today. Wow, look at that. But anyways, right off the bat, I have a list of like, all right, we're going out to KBBQ first. Boom, there's like a really good spot in Suwon and near Sungin-gwan University that I used to go to. There's a really good spot there, so I know it and I'm like, okay, we go here. And then you can order like, it's called 돼지 한 마리. It's a whole pig. In Korean, 돼지 is pig and then 한 마리 means like one animal. So like one pig. And it's not like they bring the whole pig out to you. There's like a butcher shop there alongside the restaurant and they cut it up for you in different slices. And then like back in the day, in 2012, when I was like going to university in Korea, it was literally 30,000 won, which is like a little bit less than $30 to get this whole pig. And I promise you it fed like 5 people. It was so cheap. We were poor, broke college students, so that's where we were going. And it just hit different. Like every time, like I'm like, man, there's no Korean barbecue place in the States or even here in Korea, anywhere else that tastes this good. Like it's fresh. You get so much. It's a bang for your buck. I don't think I have a video on that. Maybe I do. It was just really good. And then that would be like first on my list. And then there was a restaurant also near my university that had like the best jjajangmyeon, the Chinese noodles, like it's Korean version of Chinese noodles, black bean noodles. So I would always go there and that was on my list. And then, Korean fried chicken, there's this place in Korea that's called Gyeocheon and it's just like so good. Like the chicken is so good. So I would just go to Kyoto, or maybe I would not go there, but I would order chicken and then like gimbap, just pretty much from anywhere. And japchae was my ex-husband's grandma. She used to make japchae really good. I used to like beg her to make me some. And now when I go to Korea, I have like the hookup with my friends that know how to cook really well. So they make me some japchae, or their moms make it for me. And it's just like, it just hits so different because it's like, dude, you can't get this anywhere else. This is authentic. This is authentic as it gets, and it's so good. And you know, here in America, there's so many things that go into your food here in America, and you don't really know what it is, like preservatives and nasty stuff. And like, honestly, the food quality here in America is not great. Even if we buy vegetables or we try to be healthy and buy organic or whatever, bottom line, you don't know what's in your food here in America. Like, it's not really good for you. So when I go to Korea and I eat all these foods that I've been wanting that's on my list, it just hits different because one, the taste, amazing. Two, it's like more fresh. It's like fresh food. I don't know. And three, no matter what I eat, even if I eat a lot, I always tend to lose weight in Korea. And I really think it's because America, we don't care about what's in our food. And like, even if we think we're eating healthy, we're not really eating healthy here in America. There's something with our food. I always say it, a story for another day. One of these days, maybe a long time from now, I will have a separate YouTube channel for Carley's complaints or something like that. It'll be titled, What Carley Has to Complain About Today, or Carley's Complaints, and I'll complain about everything there. Co-workers, or insurance, or buying a house in America, or the food. I'll complain about everything on that channel. But for this channel, I'll spare you and I will stick to just teaching you English here. Every time I visit Korea, the food just really hits different because it's just so good. It's so good and I miss it. Obviously, you know, I was missing it when I was away, and then I get there and I finally get to eat it, so that just makes it taste that much better. Honestly, the food is just really good. So it hits different for me. It hits different than all the different Korean food options I have here in America, which are lots because I live near K-Town. So there's a lot of options I have here, but nothing ever beats the real thing when I go there. If you made it so far with me talking about food this whole time, I hope it didn't make you hungry. If I did, search the nearest Korean restaurant. I'm probably gonna do the same. I'm hungry. Let's go get some Korean food, all right? I hope you have a better understanding of the slang phrase hits different. If you do, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video.